Hi everyone. So we're here with Astaria Sin, and I have a very special episode, a Halloween episode with fairies and my grandmother. Couple things is she's 83 years old. She has a lot of sight problems. So if you leave comments down for her in the description or down in the comment section, I will make sure I read them to her so that she can hear what you guys had to say or if you had any questions. And if I need to do any follow-ups, I will do follow-ups. But the goal here was just to explore a part of her past because my grandma is half and half. She is half German and half Irish, almost just split down the middle because one of her parents was full-blooded German and one of her parents was full-blooded Irish. And she's going to tell us a few fairy ghost stories. And they're not like you think. Like, it's not like, I don't know. It's not going to be deep, dark, and gloomy, okay? That's just not how I roll. That's not how my grandma rolls either. But she is very mischievous, just so you know. The other thing is, so when I was sitting down to talk with her, I told her, I was like, okay, if you want to do this, like, just think about a story that you'd want to tell me and share with my audience, because she's very aware that's going up on YouTube. She's extremely supportive. She's very open about who I am as a pagan, my fairy beliefs, all of that. And my grandmother is very God orientated. So yes, she will speak about God, but she's very open, and I hope you guys will be open with her too. Anyways, I told her, I was like, just think of a story. And I went and used the bathroom, and then I came back out and I asked if she had a story yet. And I was setting up my camera, just waiting. And she goes, not yet. Give me some more time. So I set up my camera. I had the video set. All I had to do was press the red button. And I'm waiting and I'm waiting. And we talked for like 10 minutes. And she finally says, yeah, I got it. And I looked at the camera and it started on its own, dude. Started on its own. So you people apparently need to hear everything that my grandmother has to say today. All right, I hope you enjoy this. I hope you watch fully. I don't normally do really long videos on this channel, but she had some really fun and interesting things to say, and she's mischievous, so she kind of got my goat a little bit. I don't do scary things, and of course, I will tell you, yes, she did. She did tell me something that ruined my night. And she did it on purpose, and I love her anyways. But you aren't going to find out what that is because no, I'm just not going to tell you. It's not from my channel, sorry. But anyways, I hope you guys have a very great day, and I hope you enjoy time with my grandmother as much as I do because I love her. And if I could be anybody when I grow up, it would be my grandmother. Have a very great day. You got one?
Yep.
Okay. Oh, it started recording on its own.
Huh?
That's weird. It just started recording on its own. I didn't even touch it. Apparently it wants you to tell this story.
Okay.
Okay, so we're here with my grandma. We're going to talk about ghost stories and fairies. So it's like a spooky special with my grandmother. She is half German and half Irish, right?
Yes.
Your mom?
My mom's Irish, full-blooded Irish. My
right?
dad is full-blooded German.
And your mom was superstitious.
My mother was very superstitious.
Okay, so before we get into the superstitions, because I thought those were super fun, we've been talking about fairies, and that's when she started telling me about what would be my great-grandma?
Yeah.
She'd be my yeah, my great-grandma. I've never met her. But she started telling me about superstitions. So I asked her to do a ghost story for us, though. All right, what you got?
Okay. My mother, she came from Ireland. And in Ireland, there is always a slight fog.
Okay.
And as she was growing up and what have you, there was quite a mystery along this one bank. They were not elves. They were fairies.
Did they call them the good people? Is that what she called them?
No. She did not call them good people.
What did she call them?
Because they were very mischievous.
Uh-huh.
And they were like leprechauns.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Okay. But anyway, as the story that she told was that this one day her and her brother were walking down the road, and of course this embankment was there, and the fog was in, and her brother said, "Look out, Millie. There's the leprechauns." And my mother turned around and he disappeared.
Her brother did?
Yes.
What?
Yeah. She turned around again and he was gone. And she kept saying, "Where are you at? Where are you at?" And he would say, "I'm right here. Can you not see me?" And she said, "No." So she walked further down the road and what have you. And pretty soon he came back into sight.
He was walking beside her?
Yep. But he did disappear.
Whoa.
And my mother cannot explain it. Nobody else could explain it. They all thought they were lying, of course.
Right.
They were fairy telling.
Right.
And anyway, my mother told...
You're not allowed up
here. My grandmother told my mother that the leprechauns and the fairies were having a fight.
A fight?
A fight.
So
they did not get along together.
Okay.
And the fairies helped my brother disappear.
Because of the leprechauns?
Because of the leprechauns.
But why not Millie?
I don't know, neither did she.
Is it because she didn't believe, maybe?
No, she believed. She was very superstitious. She believed.
Now that would be scary. I don't know. Like if I was walking down the street and you disappeared on me, I think that might be scary.
Yeah. But anyway, they said everybody had an idea of what happened.
Mm-hmm.
They said the fog made him disappear.
So what area did she grow up in?
I'm not sure what part of Ireland.
Okay.
All I know is it was Ireland.
And she moved... Did she move here when she was an adult or a little girl?
I don't know.
Oh. You guys didn't talk about it?
She never talked about it. She told me ghost stories. So anyway, he appeared and nobody believed their story. And then my mother's shoes disappeared.
Both of them?
Yes. And they figured Dell was playing a joke on her.
Okay.
But they couldn't, Dell was nowhere around that day.
Okay.
Then her shoes disappeared. So my mother kept saying, "No, the leprechauns came and got my shoes." And her mother told her, she says, "You're fairy telling again." And my mother said, "They come at night and they do take stuff." And her mother did not believe her, my grandmother. And then one night, she got up and went to the bathroom, and her shoes was in the medicine cabinet.
Wow.
So.
Somebody was definitely playing with her.
They were playing. There is no doubt. They were not vicious, but they were very...
Mischievous. Often, yes.
Very mischievous.
The Fae are.
They never
like
hurt
that.
her or anything like that.
Well, that's really cool. I mean,
So,
I'm glad
yeah.
it wasn't something that was malicious in some way. And then you said she was very superstitious, too.
Oh, yeah. Very superstitious. Black cat would go in front of her. She'd go around the block 3 times and then go around again. She wouldn't go down the same way.
Right, it's the same way. And she would never go under a ladder.
Nope,
right?
she
And
would never go under a ladder.
That's all pretty normal stuff.
She wouldn't step on a crack in the sidewalk. She used to throw salt over her shoulder a lot.
A lot?
Yeah.
I thought you just throw salt over when you, like, spilled salt. Did she spill salt a lot?
Nope. She just take salt shaker and...
Oh. You guys never talked about it, huh?
Nope.
Wow.
Nope. She just told me some of the stories, and that was it. She told me about the butterflies.
Oh, butterflies. Okay.
Yeah. She loved butterflies. She said that the monarch butterflies were good luck. The white ones were for purity. The multicolored ones she did not like.
Okay.
So, but she always had flowers up
For the
I'm growing
butterflies,
for the
right?
butterflies.
See, and I just started growing flowers for butterflies this
Yeah.
last year. So that's really interesting.
Yeah.
So, do you have any personal ghost stories?
I do.
Is it going to scare me so I don't want to sleep tonight?
No.
Okay.
No, it's not a ghost story. It's more or less spiritual story.
Spiritual, okay.
Yeah. But my son was shot when he was 13 years old. And for my birthday, he always got me jade rings.
Mm-hmm.
And so my husband built me a jade or a jewelry tree
Okay.
for rings. And it was always sitting on the mantle of the fireplace. And we were gone one day and we came back and I always looked on the fireplace to see if the rings are there.
Mm-hmm.
Don't ask me why, I always
You just
did.
always did, yeah.
So they were gone.
All of them?
All of them. And my husband got the vacuum out, vacuumed, we looked all over, everything, could not find a one of them.
I bet you were really upset.
I was upset, very upset. And I said, it's okay. I said, maybe in the morning, we'll find them in the morning. Ted got up before I did, and he came in, he said, Pumpkin, wake up. I said, what do you want? And he said, I want to show you something. I said, what? He said, come on. He said, I'll show you. So I got up and went out there, and he pointed to the ring tree, and all my rings were back on my ring tree. Every one of them.
So what do you think happened to them?
I'm not sure, but I do believe in fairies, and I do believe in leprechauns.
You think they took them until you realized they were special to you? Or do you think Tiger did?
I think the leprechauns probably took them and Tiger brought them back.
Oh, okay. I can see that.
So, yeah.
See, all my ghost stories are scary ghost stories.
Well, mine aren't scary. Mine are, what would you say, mystic?
Yeah, mystical.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that do mystical stories.
Yeah.
Or, mystical stuff that happens to them all the
Yeah.
time. They don't
Yeah.
really view it as scary. I guess
Yeah.
because I'm afraid of spirits and ghosts, it becomes scary to me no matter
Yeah.
what tense it's in for me. Like, if that were to happen to me,
Yeah.
I would be afraid.
Yeah. No. I wasn't afraid because another thing is that your mother and I were sitting watching TV in the room when there was a TV room.
Mm-hmm. I remember that.
And
I used to watch
door.
a teddy bear Halloween show in there.
Yes. And the door opened. We were sitting reading the Bible. And the door opened and shut. And I waited. Nobody was there. I looked at Marlene and I said, Marlene, didn't the door not open and shut? And she said, yeah. I said, but there's nobody there.
See, that would creep me out.
So I walked out, and when I did, I walked into a spiritual force, is all I can think of.
Like bad or good?
No,
or?
it was good. It was peaceful. It made me feel good. I was not afraid. And I told your mother, I said, Merlene, come here. And she said, no. And I said, give me your hand. She says, no, don't touch me.
Oh, boy.
And I told her, I said, you'll like this. And she says, no, I want nothing to do with it. And I stepped out of it, and it disappeared, and it has never come back.
What do you think it was? Like just
I think it was Tiger.
saying hi or?
Coming back and saying, you had the same feeling as I have now. It's a good feeling. It's peaceful. I don't hurt. I'm
So
not
like
hungry.
reassurance.
Yep. So, other than that, another time was my sister died of polio.
And this was a long time ago, right?
Very long time ago.
Like
I was only in the 3rd grade.
Oh yeah, very long time ago.
And we were all in the hospital with polio. And
yes, because half of your stomach, you can't feel anything.
Yes.
Because you had polio. Okay.
But anyway, she was in an iron lung and she did pass away. And all 3 of us girls slept together in a big bed with a feather tick.
Okay.
And what have you. And Claire liked to sleep on top of the feather
And
tick.
she's the one who died?
Yes.
Okay.
And anyway, we all went to bed. Skeeter and I went to bed and what have you. This is after we got home from the hospital.
And did you know that Claire had already passed?
We were told on the way home.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And that morning we got up and Skeeter told me, she says, Claire was here last night. And I said, really? And she said, yeah. And I said, what did she say?
Get down, you little brat. No kittens. No kittens on the table.
And I said, what did she say? She said she didn't say anything. She just laid down on top of the feather tick and went to sleep.
Oh.
And I said, oh.
Got a little
And
goosebumps.
so we looked at the feather tick and there was the indentation of her laying there. So we knew it was her.
Right.
But
And that didn't scare you?
no.
That would have scared me.
No. So.
You know, one time, it was after Mom got with Steve, my stepdad that I claimed. I slept in the bedroom right next door to them. And it was after Grandpa Ted, several years after Grandpa Ted had passed. Because I was, 6 when Grandpa Ted passed, I think? And I was 8 when Mom got with Steve I think. Okay. So it was a couple years after, and I slept upstairs because I was afraid of being downstairs. And of course, it's a 2-story house that I not used to that kind of situation because we were always slept in the trailers or something like that.
Yeah.
So I wasn't used to a 2-story house.
Or one level.
Yeah, it was always one level. Yeah. So the basement scared me. But anyway, so I slept upstairs next to Dad and Mom, and there would be a presence that used to come visit me, like a shadow person, and he would sit at the end of my bed. And it scared me so much that I would call for Mom in the middle of the night, and of course she's right next door, and I had a little nightlight, so that's how I could see the shadows, because the nightlight was right there. And I never ever slept without a nightlight. I don't remember a time in my life where I did not sleep without a nightlight. Even now I sleep with nightlights. Adam's out hunting and I'm sleeping with nightlights and teddy bears, okay? But I had called for her because I was really scared, and I couldn't, at the time I couldn't. It was when I would be so afraid I couldn't move. I'd just kind of like freeze up, and it'd take everything in me to even holler out. And she came in and she quieted me down, put me back to sleep and everything else. And the next morning she came in and she says, do you think it's your Grandpa Ted visiting you? And I told her, I was like, I don't know if it's him visiting me, but I don't like it. At which point she got out the Bible. She came into my room, and before she started reading from the Bible, she said, Dad, if you're here, you need to go.
Yeah.
And then she started reading out of the Bible.
Yeah.
But that didn't stop it from happening. I don't think it was Grandpa Ted.
It could have been maybe somebody in the house before Steve bought it that died or
I don't know, but it was creepy. Like, that house was really creepy. I had a lot of creepy things happen to me. One time, as I was growing up, because I was kids, there was 4 of us kids, so, some of us sometimes would be downstairs and upstairs. So it was always moving around, right? Well, I ended up downstairs, and I'm a teenager by this point. And I was used to hearing Dad get up in the morning, because he's up at like 4 o'clock in the morning, and you can hear when they're doing their coffee, and when he's opening and closing the cupboards and stuff, because you could tell when people are opening and closing cupboards, right? And I thought he was awake. It's like 4:30 in the morning. I thought he was awake. So I go upstairs because I hear all of this happening. I hear the cupboards opening and closing and everything else. And I walk up the stairs. There's a light on. And I come around the corner expecting to see my dad making his coffee, and there is nobody there, and all the cupboards are opened. Creeped me out. I ran back downstairs, shut my door, and started like just crying because I didn't know what else to do. I think there was even one point Aunt Teven and I had a conversation. I must have been way young at this point because I was afraid of the dark and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And I always felt like something was always after me and whatnot. And me and Aunt Teven had spoke to it. And she had told me that all I had to do was say Jesus' name and they would go away. But that wasn't true. It was not true. It was so not true.
Tiger and Ivy, when they had their bedrooms downstairs,
my niece and nephew,
they swore they seen figures, shadows, walking around downstairs.
Yeah.
And it would freak Ivy out. And I never did see one, but...
Did you ever feel one? Ever feel anything down there?
No.
Yeah, but you slept down there for a long time because Grandpa Ted actually dug out that basement, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
See, I don't know. It could just be something that was following them too, or something they saw.
You know, the light will play...
The light can play tricks on you.
Tricks on you.
That is true. That is true.
And I think what it was is that... because there's always been a wildcat down there. And I think what had happened, what have you...
Is it got on something and the lights was playing tricks with it?
Yeah. Like... Yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah.
You know,
and then they seen the shadow and then...
Right, and that would be scary. Yeah. Yep. I don't know if that was the case when I was younger. I don't know. I just remember that. And do you know, Lashina, because at the time, Lashina, my stepsister, she didn't live with us. So she'd only come during the summertime.
Yeah.
And I was upstairs in that bedroom, and we shared that bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
We weren't very good at sharing at that time. I don't know if you remember that or not.
Yeah, did not get along.
We did not get along, but we did sleep in the same bed, and we did try to get along. Like every time she would come into town, we would make a deal. Let's see how long we can go without fighting this time. Like all the time, we always did that. And we got to the point where I think the longest we ever didn't fight was like 2 whole weeks. And it was during this time, like we were getting along and everything else, and we were sleeping in the same bed, and that same entity that I was always worried about. And I never did tell Mom about it again because I didn't think that what she was doing was working, was helping.
Yeah.
And nothing I was doing was helping either, and I didn't know what else to do. Yeah. So anyways, me and Sheena were sleeping in the bed, and on a number of occasions, and I didn't tell people this, it would get on top of me and lay there. And I couldn't move. Oh no, bad kitty. Squirt bottle. Get her, Grandma. Oh, she just got down. Okay.
They know this.
They do know the squirt bottle. So anyways, we were sleeping, and this entity often did that. It would lay on top of me or feel like it was on top of me, and I couldn't move, and I'd be awake and not be able to move or do anything, and it scared the crap out of me. And then this night it happened, and it was in the middle of it happening, and the minute it got off of me, Lashina looks at me and goes, "What was that?" And I was like, oh God. Oh man. Because I'd never told her. She didn't know about it.
Yeah.
I didn't tell anybody. Me and her were not close. Little brat kittens. Did your mom tell you Halloween stories?
About the headless horseman.
The headless horseman, that's pretty common.
Yeah.
Is it anything like people see it today?
My dad.
Oh, your dad is German, right?
Yeah.
Full German.
He was a prankster. Every time Ted and I would leave our house and what have you, we'd come home, and if they were in town, our furniture would be upside down. Or he would put string and...
Oh, so he had a really good sense of humor, didn't he?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Somebody's on the counter. Little brats. I got it. There she goes.
I'm telling you, she knows the
She does know. She was just hiding on that other side. So,
but in one time, we came home and there was a rat in our bathtub. And I thought it was the boys because the boys were staying with us at that time. And I told John, I said, you'd get that rat out of
And
the
now
bathtub.
John's your brother.
Yeah.
Okay, your brother.
Yeah, the oldest one. And I told him, I said, get that rat out of the bathtub. He said, I didn't put it in there. And I said, somebody did. And I said, and it's not funny. I said, get it out of the bathtub. He said, it'll attack me. And I said, you should have thought of that before you put it in the bathtub. So we had an old bird cage. So he took the bird cage, put it over the rat, what have you, and turned it upside down and put the bottom on real fast. But we found out that it was a sewer rat that came up through the sewer.
Oh! Ooh.
And so I apologized to the boys.
You were like, John, I'm sorry.
And John
I'm
told me,
sorry.
he says, yeah, he said, that's going to do me a lot of good if I got rabies. Which the rat did not bite him. So he didn't have rabies.
Right, right.
But, yeah, that was quite a deal. Another time is that, what was it? I think it was Halloween. And it was in this house. And Kelly, my oldest son, decided he was going to play a trick on us because Ted and I went to the bar.
Mm-hmm.
And we came home, and when we opened up the door, a pail of beans came down on us.
Oh, fun.
It could have been worse. It could have been water.
So, wait. So what you're telling me is that people played tricks on you because you didn't give them treats.
Probably so.
See how you are?
And you know, it didn't work. I still didn't give him any treats.
See, nothing ever like super creepy happened to me on actual Halloween. Like I haven't had a whole lot of creep factor on Halloween. Other times, yes, but not during Halloween.
I did. When we were living in Salt Lake, our next door neighbor, he put a mask on and he was peeking in through the window.
Ooh.
And Ted was working.
Ooh.
And I was in the front room and I could feel something staring at me, and I turned around and looked at the window, and here this face was.
Oh, man.
And I screamed.
Oh, yeah.
Woke Kelly up. He was just a baby then. I woke him up. And Harm came over. His name was Harm. And he came over and he says, did I scare you that bad? And I said,
that was you?
And all I did was look at him. And I told him, I said, I don't like you.
Oh, God.
And he told me, he said, I didn't mean to scare you that bad. He said, I didn't realize, he said, that it would freak you out that bad. And I said, have you ever looked at yourself in the mirror? And
wow,
he said,
you're harsh.
Oh, yeah. And he said, well, I had a mask on. And I said, well, even with the mask off, I said, you're scary. But yeah, that was kind of scary. So.
All right, well, I'm going to wrap this up.
Okay, well, you're going to have to do a lot of editing.
That's okay. That's okay, Grandma. Thank you for doing this with me. I appreciate it.
It wasn't a horror stories like you wanted, but
no, I don't think I ever actually expect horror stories, particularly from you, because we've talked a lot in the past.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times, like I don't know. I don't view you as somebody who's afraid of spirits in a general sense.
I'm not.
I've always been afraid of spirits, ghosts, stuff like that. Adam doesn't even believe in them.
Ted never used to, but he did after the ring.
Yeah. It only takes like one instance, like to kind of show you that there's something there or whatever. Yeah. But most of the time, I think for people, it is scary stuff.
You know, you read in books, there's bad spirits and good spirits. I've never ran into a bad spirit.
Well, you probably don't even allow them because, as far as I'm concerned,
you know,
they get attached to something.
You have to have an opening to let them.
Right. They have to get attached to something for that to be a thing.
Yeah.
Which is why I like living out on the property, honestly. Because seriously, the property, I mean, there's nothing there. No people have lived out there. The animals, there's animals.
You know, there are spirits out there, though.
Well, yes, but it's not the same. It's not like somebody being murdered in a house and they're stuck to the house or something.
But have you ever thought about...
You're going to say something that scares me and doesn't let me sleep tonight, aren't you? You are. You're going to do that, okay.
Yeah.
Talk about the Indians.
You know, the Indians roamed out there.
They did, but it's not...
And their spirits out there
but I don't feel
around.
like they're something that would be harmful to me.
No, they're not harmful.
That's what I mean. Like, it's not...
Unless they want you to sacrifice.
Sacrifice. Are you kidding me, Grandma? That is not how that even works.
Sure it does.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it does.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
No. I refuse. That's not a thing. That is not a thing. Okay? Indians killed things and they ate all of it. They didn't sacrifice things like that. They killed it and they ate it.
They used to dig holes and put people in it.
Well, most people do that when other people die.
But these were alive.
I don't think so. But I know you. You like to tell stories. And do you know how I know this? Because you did it to Tiger and Ivy. And then you told me about it. So I know you. You're a little trickster yourself. See? See? I know. I know these things.
Well, sometimes.
A lot of times.
No, not a lot.
Yes, you do. You had me believe in a car. Well, a car talked to you and was a living being. You had me believing that. And I was what?
You and Ron.
How old was I? 8, 9?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was your laser, right?
Yeah.
And it was the first time a car had like a talking system. And here you are. Well, the car doesn't want to go there, so we're going to go here. And I'm like, and I remember you saying, well, you better be quiet back there. You don't want to make the car mad. You had me terrified of that car.
I did not like that car.
I could tell you had everybody afraid of it. But no, seriously, like that's what I like about being out there is I'm not living in somebody else's house where a bunch of other things have happened and a bunch of, there's like a bunch of buildup of stuff. That's just not out there.
Yeah.
There's buildup of animal stuff and nature stuff.
Yeah.
So there's a lot out there, but I don't think there's anything out there actually malicious towards me out there, which is okay. Which is why I'm okay.
You really never know.
Yes, I do know. And you're not going to change my mind.
Well,
see how ornery she is? Yeah.
Things happen.
No, they don't.
Sure they do.
Stop it. You're not supposed to do this to your granddaughter. You're not supposed to do this.
You're close to Halloween.
No,
I can do this.
She's not. No. No.
I can do this.
None.
It's close to
None
Halloween.
For you. No.
Did I ever tell a story about the headless horseman?
We know the story of this headless horseman.
Okay.
Ichabod Crane. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Everybody knows Ichabod Crane. Did you ever see him?
Yeah.
What a lie. Oh, yeah.
When you go by somebody's house and they got him out there in the yard.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you asked me if I ever seen him, and I said,
You're ornery. You're ornery. You're ornery. All right, I'm going to turn this off. Before you go even a little bit further. You get all spooky.
And I'm really going to freak her out.
No.
When she turns this off. I just don't want to freak out your audience.
I don't think they would care. I think they would like it. But we're not going to do it. So you guys have a very great day.